Shabbat Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yasharala. It's your brother Cashiel coming again with another great lesson. This is going to be part 4 in my creation series. Part 4. The courses of the luminaries. And in this lesson, we're going to describe how the sun and the moon revolve around creation, a little bit about the stars. Okay, I won't waste a lot of time here. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. This is Job 36, 2, 3, and 4. Suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on Yahweh's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar, and will ascribe righteousness to my Maker. For truly my words shall not be false. He that is perfect in knowledge is with me. Okay. Now this is Psalm 113 and 3. Psalm 113 and 3. From the rising of the sun unto the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. Again, Psalm 113 and 3. From the rising of the sun unto the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. Okay. Now we're going to go to Enoch chapter 72. Okay. And I'm going to read 1 through 17. Okay. This is Enoch chapter 72. And this is the book of the courses of the luminaries. Enoch chapter 72. Verse 1. The book of the courses of the luminaries of heaven. The relations of each according to their name, origin, and months, or dominions and seasons, which Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, who is their guide, showed me. And he showed me all their laws, or their regulations, exactly as they are, and how it is with each of the years of the world and to eternity, until the new creation is accomplished, which endures until eternity. 2. And this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary, the sun, and this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary, the sun, has its rising in the eastern doors of heaven, and its setting in the western doors of heaven. And I saw 6 doors in which the sun rises, and 6 doors in which the sun sets. And the moon rises and sets in these doors also. And the leaders of the stars in whom and those whom they lead, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and all following each other in accurately corresponding order. Excuse me. There were also many windows to the right and left of these doors. And first there goes out the great luminary named the sun, and his spear, or his globe, is like the spear of heaven, or like the circle of heaven, and he is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire. 5. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east, and is so guided that he comes to the appropriate door and shines in the face of the heaven. Verse 6. In this way he rises in the first month in the great door, which is the 4th. And in that 4th door from which the sun rises in the first month are 12 windows, from which proceed a flame when they are opened in their season. Excuse me. When the sun rises in heaven, he comes out through that fourth door 30 mornings in succession, and sets accurately in the fourth door in the west of the heaven. And during this period the day becomes daily longer, and nights grow shorter to the 30th morning. On that day the day is longer than the night by a ninth part, and the day amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun rises from that fourth door and sets in the fourth door, and returns to the fifth door of the east 30 mornings, and rises from it and sets in the fifth door. And then the day becomes longer by 2 parts and amounts to 11 parts, and the night becomes shorter and amounts to 7 parts. And it returns to the east and enters into the sixth door, and rises and sets in the sixth door 1 mornings on the account of its sign. On that day the day becomes longer than the night, and the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts, and the night is shortened and becomes 6 parts. And the sun mounts up to make the day shorter and the night longer. And the sun returns to the east and enters into that sixth door, and rises from it and sets 30 mornings. And when 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly 1 part, and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. And the sun goes out from that sixth door in the west, and goes to the east, and rises in the fifth door for 30 mornings, and sets in the west again in the fifth western door. Okay. Now let's look over here. True creation. Now let's read again. Okay. And this, verse 2. Enoch chapter 72, verse 2. And this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary, the sun, has its rising in the eastern doors of heaven, and its setting in the western doors of heaven. So what you're looking at right there, that's the east, okay? Verse 3, and I saw 6 doors in which the sun rises, and 6 doors in which the sun sets, and the moon rises and sets in these doors. Here's the east right here. Okay. Here's your 6 eastern doors right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I saw 6 doors in which the sun rises, and 6 doors in which the sun sets, and the moon rises and sets in these doors, and the leaders of the stars, and those whom they lead. 6 in the east and 6 in the west. East, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go to the west side. Okay, 6 in the east, 6 in the west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the moon rises and sets in these doors also. Okay. Now let's skip right here to verse 6 and read, and then we'll do the demonstration. In this way, he rises in the first month in the great door, which is the 4th. So he comes out of the he comes out of the 4th door right here in the east. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So out of this door is the first rising in the first month. Okay. So what the book is describing is this here. Okay. It's the sun. He's going to rise in this door, go up over your head, Okay? And set in the same corresponding door. Okay? Same corresponding door. So he's going to rise in this door in the east, up over your head like you see every day. And he's going to set in this door. Then he goes under the earth, around the north. Okay? To come back to his rising portal. Same thing for 30 days. Okay? Rise, set, travel around the north, under the earth, back to the east, rise again. 30 days in each portal. Okay? So now let's look here. Alright. This here, that's your aerial view. Okay? Now let's read again. And I saw 6 doors in which the sun rises, and 6 doors in which the sun sets. So that's 12 total. Let's look right here in the east. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 doors where the sun rises. Here in the west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 doors in which the sun sets. Okay? So now let's do the same thing on the compass. Okay? First, let's read. I'm sorry. Enoch 72, chapter 72 and verse 6. In this way he rises in the first month in the great door, which is the 4th. And in that 4th door from which the sun rises in the first month are 12 windows from which proceed a flame when they are opened in their season. Okay? So the sun rises first. His first rising is in the 4th door in the east. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So he rises out of this portal. This is where the Father set him up to rise in his first rising. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Again. So he's going to rise in this portal. Okay? In the first month, which is March. And he's going to set in the very same corresponding portal. Go around to the north. Back to the same portal. 30 days. This is what he does. Now you understand how the sun revolves around the earth. One more time. He's going to rise in this portal. Okay? Set in the west. Go around the north. Back to the spot where he rises. Okay? Okay? 72 again. Enoch 72 and verse 3, just to remind you. And I saw 6 doors in which the sun rises, and 6 doors in which the sun sets. And the moon rises and sets in these doors. Okay. So one thing I want you to understand is that the sun and the moon rise and set from the same position. Okay? They're going to rise and set in the same position. As he's rising, she's setting in the west. She makes her way back to the north. And as he sets in the west, she's rising in the east. He goes around back to the north. She rises. Sets in the west. He's back over here in the east getting ready to rise again. She's gone. Now, the sun and the moon are always the same distance apart except for when he wants to make signs with them. You see the distance between the sun and the moon? That's even with the earth. The distance between the sun and the moon is always the same except for beginning and end of months when she changes her course. Okay? If you don't go back and watch an introduction to creation, and then if you don't go and watch parts 1, 2, and 3, you're never going to understand what I just demonstrated for you. Okay? It's very, very simple. You look over here, you can do the same thing. Okay? He's going to rise right here in the east. He's going to rise right here in the east. Right here in the east. Okay? In these eastern portals. He's going to rise in this half of the earth. And he's going to set in this half of the earth. The western half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So just to give you a visual, okay? So that you have the correct images in your head when you're reading this, in the book and you're reading the Bible. Again, the sun has his risings in the eastern portals of the heaven. Up over creation, setting in the west. While he's setting in the west, the moon has already taken her course, and she does the exact same thing. She goes under the earth, around the north, back to her setting spot. When she's rising, he's setting. Okay? Same thing. She's going to rise, go up over creation. Okay? Meanwhile, he's taking his course through the north, under the earth, to the west. And when she sets, he rises. Day and night. Okay? That's not hard to understand at all. It's absolutely not hard. It is way easier to understand than all that BS science and astrology that they taught us in school. Okay? Very simple. Okay? The Father changeth not. It says it in the scripture that he changes not. Okay? He is the same forever and always, which means his creation is until he changes it. Okay? So let's get some scripture. Okay? And these lessons are getting shorter and shorter because all the materials are together. So that's a blessing. Alright? Read some scripture. Alright, and I'm going to close this out. Alright? I'm I'm going to go to my last scripture is going to be Psalms, last few scriptures. Okay. 147 and 19 and 20. This is Psalm 147, 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, or unto the Israelites, or to the Hebrews. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as far as his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Creator. Praise ye Yahweh. Okay? So we're going to go right here to Ecclesiastes. Alright? Ecclesiastes. I apologize for thumbing through my scripture, but I only have one Bible, so I don't have all the scriptures open right away. But we closing this out, okay? We're going to go to Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, and we are going to read the 5th verse, okay? This is Ecclesiastes 1. I'm sorry, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 5. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasten to his place where he arose. Okay? And then I have another version of that scripture that sounds a little better out of the NIV. The New International Version. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 5 out of the NIV, the New International Version. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning to the north. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. Okay? Last couple scripture here, okay? Psalm 147, 19 and 20, okay? Psalm 147, I'm sorry, I already read that one. Okay. I'll just go ahead and close this out. Then with Enoch 36 and 4. Okay. This is Enoch 36 and 4. And as often as I saw, I blessed the Lord of spirits, and I continue to bless the Lord of glory, who has wrought great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels and to spirits and to men. Praise the great work of his hands, and bless him forever. Praise the great work of his hands. And bless him forever. Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yasharala. Shabbat Shalom.